So, my friends, welcome to a new crypto update video. Bitcoin is at 104,400 US dollars, and last night things got a little rough. Israel attacked Iran. As a result, the markets took a bit of a dive. On the other hand, oil shot up significantly, up 13%. The markets, or rather, crypto, aren't really reacting very well to this, even though it was pretty foreseeable over the last, I think, 1 or 2 days. Still, we're in a range where, in quotes, it's bearable, and we still have a chance to reach at least all-time high levels up here. We'll take a closer look at the chart in just a moment. We'll take a deeper look at the daily and weekly candles as well. And of course, I'll share my scenarios for today and for the rest of the week. Before we get started, feel free to give the video a like. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And of course, feel free to join the free Telegram Talk and Signal group. If you're interested in updates, news, and signals, feel free to join. You'll find a free link to it down in the video description. And if you're just looking for an exchange where you can trade everything we talk about here, you can sign up with my partner exchange, BingX. The link for that is also down below in the video description or in the comments section. So, let's get into it. Bitcoin, as I said, is at 104,300 US dollars. Our two long scenarios or long zones have basically been triggered here in these areas. Those were the red zones. We can remove them here, at least for now. If you're setting a stop loss, you should probably put it down below 100,000 US dollars so that the range still holds here. As for the funding rates, we can take a look at them in a moment. They're relatively negative again, of course, because a lot of short liquidity has come in. That's not really surprising. They already crashed pretty hard yesterday evening during the live stream. But still, the scenario here is, okay, we have a double top, and the short position that I've had open since 160,000 or 170,000 US dollars is still running. But the long positions are still running as well, because I still have it in the back of my mind that we could at least see another all-time high, or at least hit the 114 to 116K range. Of course, right now it's a bit of a dilemma, but as long as we can still, let's say, hold this 100,000 US dollar area, and that's also, this range we've been in for quite some time now, or rather since the beginning of May, as long as that's the case, things don't actually look that bad. And I wouldn't say that Israel and Iran should change the global situation, at least not yet. Let's see if the US and so on will get involved here. Otherwise, indicators like the RSI have completely cooled off on 1-hour and 4-hour time frames, which is, in quotes, a good sign. Let's switch to the daily time frame. The candle yesterday, of course, did not look good at all. But even here, the same applies. We're still within the range. We also still have a nice vector candle up here, as well as the old red one up in the area of 111,600 or 111,700 US dollars. Those are currently the glimmers of hope that we might still reach these price levels. What isn't really bullish, though, is that we've crossed below the EMEs here, for example. Not really a bullish sign, but here too we can see that the range up to 100,000 still holds. As soon as that breaks, then my scenario of around 93,000 or down to 98,000, 88,000 US dollars becomes very, very likely. That means we're still in territory, as I said, where all-time highs are currently in play, even if you should act a bit more cautiously here. At the moment, it's really not the case that you could say, wow, no, everything is going down the drain now or anything like that. Even if we look back a bit at the week, we've just now recovered Monday here. We're now just at the level where we were last Friday, so exactly a week ago, that's where we are. Everyone was bullish before. Oh, now suddenly there's war, and now everyone is bearish again. So just be a bit careful, and don't rush into anything right now. As long as the 100,000 US dollars hold, everything is fine. After that, we can start thinking about 88 or 93,000 US dollars. If we look at the heat map, it's the same story here, still the 111,000, 112,000 US dollars. To the downside, everything has already been cleared out for now. It's really interesting how accurately this always plays out here. The 111,000 on the weekly would be the next step now. If the 3-day heat map, well, it just didn't load. But even there, it's pretty much the same story, where we say, okay, 110, 111,000 on the daily. Same thing here again, 107, 108, 109. So it would also make sense now for us to see another recovery here, and that's kind of the key point at the moment, at least that's what I'd say. If we draw our fib level from our top to our low, you can see here as well, the golden pocket is between 107,500 and 107,800. With the wick, I'd just say that the interesting zone will be up here in this price range, between 107,600 and about 107,900 US dollars. Those are the two key levels. If we get rejected here, that is, if we see another recovery to the upside and then get rejected here, then in my opinion, it's over for now. Otherwise, if we break through up here, then the all-time highs are back in play. So at the moment, at least in my opinion, there's still no reason for any kind of panic or emergency selling here. You definitely could have taken profits at any time along the way. That's just how it is. Still, don't panic just yet. It's simply not really worth it right now. Let's move on to the altcoins. They haven't really been performing that great so far anyway, except for Ethereum. But now, Ethereum has finally reached the red box that we've had marked for about a week, I think. Here too, there's still no lower low at the moment. It'll be interesting to see if we get a recovery here. Other than that, Ethereum just has its range, and it's been in that range since the beginning of May. So there's still massive accumulation happening in this area. The trading volume isn't really anything spectacular either. So it's the same story here as with Bitcoin. As long as this range holds, everything's fine. If it soon drops below $2,300, or more specifically below this wick here, 2,315, then things will get rough. Then, most likely, the $1,800 level will come into play first. But here too, same as with BTC. If we take a quick look, resistance up here at $2,700, or rather 2,740, if we end up filling the inefficiency here and get rejected, then in my opinion, things will look a bit more bearish, and that's something we should keep an eye on. Here as well, there are still vector candles that need to be picked up. Otherwise, everything is still in the green for now, even if it doesn't really look like it. If we take a look, Ethereum lost 15% from our top to our low in the meantime. So, really wild moves overnight. BTC lost less than 10%. Just as a side note, Solana? Yeah, same story, completely bottomless. Unfortunately, it didn't hit our short zone up here. So, the golden pocket was the main target. Now it's even made a lower low here. I hope you took your profits. Stop loss entry should have been set, but yeah. Otherwise, Solana has given back all the gains from the whole week, even made another lower low here. It's not really great, but well, at the moment, altcoins in general are just completely bottomless. But Solana, same story. In my opinion, you could even try some small long moves. But yeah, that would be absolutely risky to jump into candles like these, especially since we don't know what's going to happen in the next few days. Plus, the US market hasn't opened yet. Let's see how they react then. But here too, it's the same story as with Ethereum and BTC, $177 to $160. That's the interesting zone for Solana. And here as well, to be fair, even if the chart looks super bullish and we're also seeing the first signs of a head and shoulders pattern right now. As long as this zone holds, everything's fine and we're still in this range, and we've just reached the lows, or rather, this retest zone from, if we go back, April 22nd. So here too, there's no need to immediately, well, talk things down. What's even positive here is that we actually have a bullish divergence. Only if this area here breaks, so this low down here, then in my opinion things get pretty critical, and then for Solana, we're probably looking at prices between 122 and even below $100. Yeah, that's possible. Let's move on to the traditional markets. Gold, of course, with the war in the Middle East, gold is really benefiting again, surging upward. We've broken through the resistance. A very, very good sign at this point. Especially because we got a nice green vector candle here. That means the previous highs are now history, and we can head toward the all-time high. You always have to keep in mind, even during times of war, there are things that end up outperforming, and of course, gold is the #1 investment in that case. So, for me, the all-time high remains the overall target. Yes, the stock markets. Let's start with the DAX. The DAX already made some gains yesterday. It's likely that in the early morning hours today, this wick here will probably be filled at around $23,300. Here too, pay attention to whether we actually break through here or if we can even hold the support on a daily basis. That means, in my opinion, this red box will be crucial. Otherwise, for weeks now we've been seeing bearish divergence, declining volume, nothing really bullish. Like I said, I haven't shorted anything here. What's more interesting to me now is, will this zone hold? That means we'll probably open with losses. Then do we go back up and form a double top? That would be more of a sign for a potential short. Yeah, the traditional markets, the US, the Nasdaq, still absolutely green. So nothing's really happening there. We're still in a massive accumulation phase here. Of course, it could now lead to us breaking through this resistance today, even though I don't think so, and that's still kind of my speculation, that we'll head toward an all-time high again. So I think that we'll head toward an all-time high again because it's just too close to the whole story. So, another all-time high, everyone thinks everything's fine, and then it drops down. That would be more my alternative, rather than just turning down right before it. The same goes for the Dow Jones. Well, it took a bit of a hit yesterday, while the Nasdaq is still very, very stable, and the S&P 500 has just now broken through the support level to the downside. So, for now, we need to watch, but it's the same game here. We have to see how we react at this threshold, at 5,800 points. If it continues to hold, everything is still fine. Then we still have a chance for an all-time high. Otherwise, if it breaks, then you can probably expect a bigger correction potential for now. But like I said, I'm still pretty relaxed about all of this at the moment and wouldn't even say that everything is super bearish. Especially if we consider that just yesterday, the 30-year government bonds were all bought up very, very well. We actually have pretty good news all around. If we take a look at today's news events for 2:30 p.m., there's really not much going on in the US. Only new vehicle sales are left, which really isn't important, and neither is the rest. That means the whole week has actually been very, 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 very bullish in terms of news. So for that reason, I wouldn't paint a bleak picture just because of today. Last but not least, let's quickly take a look at the US dollar, which has now found its footing again for the time being. We already talked about this yesterday in the live stream, that this could especially lead to a bullish divergence, which would push the dollar upward for now. The same goes for the euro against the US dollar, which has now found its new high for the time being. Interestingly, and I really have to emphasize interestingly here, if we look at the high point, it only closed just slightly above it, with the wick liquidity being taken out. So now, this could really be either, was yesterday's move just a fake out because of the weak dollar, only to completely drop now with a definite bearish divergence? That would be point number one. Or, because we at least closed just slightly above this wick here, that this could be the trend reversal. So, a pullback down to here would definitely still be possible, 1.14406, and then either the move continues, or this ascending channel breaks, and in that case, we go much, much lower. And the trend reversal for the US dollar would be there, a stronger dollar, with people fleeing back into the US dollar. That's definitely something we could see. So, it's going to be interesting. Don't overdo it today. It's Friday, then the weekend. We don't know what kind of news might come out over the weekend. So it's better to stay on the sidelines a bit and wait, and otherwise, I'd say that's it from my side. Later there will be an XRP update, and then I wish you all a great day. Take care of yourselves. See you later. And if there's anything, feel free to join the free Telegram Talk and Signal group. Until then, bye-bye, and as always, stay crypto.